you got to be the one to initiate the conversation. You got to be the one to go out there. You got to put in the 1%ers and just all that. It's never going to be straight handed to you. You're never going to, it's like saying you're walking around the shops. Someone says, "Oh, you look like a coach. Here, come be the head coach of the Melbourne United."
This is Coach to Coach, where we talk junior basketball coaching in a relaxed, practical way. I'm Jace, and these are your fast break chats. Let's get into it. Welcome to another episode of Coach to Coach. I am really pleased to have another young coach along with me today, talking basketball of all things. Welcome along, Austin Hoffman.
Thank you very much for having me. Looking forward to it.
Yeah, good. We will start with the usual. Tell us, how long have you been coaching?
I've been coaching for about, 2026. I've been coaching for around 3.5 years now.
Okay, great.
I started at the end of year 8, just coaching a low ability under 10s team.
Yep.
And sort of just made my way through, realised how much I loved it.
Yeah.
And then, ultimately now coaching over at the Knox Raiders, doing the academies during the week, and I'm loving every second of it.
Yeah, great. So what teams are you, like which age groups are you currently working with? So
I coach the Knox Raiders 12-3 boys.
Okay.
And then I coach the Belgrave South Red Devils under 16 boys.
Yeah, so, great.
Yeah, it's both teams are really good. They're both very coachable.
Yep.
And, they all just want to come and work. So
yeah, great.
No, it's good.
You've sort of touched on it a little bit, but why do you coach?
All along, I've loved being a leader. So I played since 2017, and I've been captain. I've captained a couple rep teams, and then all of a sudden, it was just an opportunity that was provided by my domestic club that I played for all along. They just said, "Look, there's a couple teams that need coach, and we'd love to have you hop in." And I was like, "Oh, yeah, we'll give it a shot. Why not? Like, if I like it, I'll keep going with it. If I don't, then we try it anyway."
Might as well, have a go at it.
Exactly.
Absolutely. Yep.
So, I sort of just since that opportunity came up, I realised how much of a positive environment you can create from it.
Yeah.
And then you realise you get a really positive environment if you, do it the way that it's encouraged to be done.
Yes.
It's just, I love seeing teams grow to really get along at the end of the season, ultimately.
Brilliant. So you've been in it for a few years now. Was there someone or people that have had a positive influence on your coaching journey?
Yeah, for sure. So definitely my dad. He takes me everywhere. Mum and dad, they take me everywhere to all my coaching and stuff. Also, one of the coaches I had back in 2020, her name's Claire.
Yep.
She was an absolute legend. Not so much influenced my coaching, but since I'd been a coach, but while I'd been a player, I'd get some little tools on discipline and stuff like that, which she did really well. Shout out Claire if you're listening. But yeah, I guess she sort of was a really motivating coach.
Yep.
And
so really, she will have had an influence on your coaching because, indirectly.
Yeah,
she would have set a standard for you that you've then applied, I imagine, to your current coaching.
Yeah. Partially more from the motivation, discipline side of things, for sure.
Yeah, brilliant. And do you have a favourite professional player at the moment?
Yep.
Or he looks excited to answer this one.
Yep. So this one, my favourite player is actually very different to everyone's favourite player. So Kyle Bowen on Melbourne United. He's
love KB.
He's my favourite player by far. And I say it to my mates every day. I'm like, oh, KB's an absolute legend. I love him. But he's, when people automatically think that you're sort of taking the piss a bit when you say it. But I genuinely mean it, because you look at the way he plays. When I coach, I appreciate 1%ers.
Yep.
He does the 1%ers.
He really does, doesn't he?
He's... he boxes out, he seals down low when there's, when, say, Shea Ely's trying to get to the basket, he seals out that help defender.
Yep.
He wheels under the basket very well.
He reads rebounds.
Exactly.
So, the wide ones, he's not under the basket. He doesn't need to be in that space, but he's out for the wide ones that he goes, yep, I'll have that, thank you.
Yeah, I already know, if any of my mates are listening to this, they're going to think, oh, jeez. here we go again.
I love it.
But yeah, he is by far my absolute favourite.
Yeah, brilliant.
So,
no, I definitely have enjoyed watching his contribution to Melbourne United.
Yeah.
It's often been understated, but so good. So consistent.
He just does all the nitty-gritty stuff.
He does, doesn't he? He goes to work.
Exactly.
It's an ethic. I think that there's a shared value on there. It's go KB.
Yeah, exactly.
So we talked a little bit about what sort of topic you'd like to cover off today, and we know that this, particularly the east side of Melbourne's basketball networks, are all incredibly well connected. Mm-hmm. Everybody knows everybody, and it doesn't take much to find somebody that you can bounce an idea off, run a challenge past, get ideas for. So we were going to lean into the topic of sort of the networking side of basketball and coaching. So I'll let you take the lead on this one, because this was something that you wanted to cover off. Yep. Tell us, so what are you thinking when we talk about coaching networks and whatnot?
Look, well, I think the first thing that comes to mind is you never know who's watching.
Yeah, okay.
That's the first thing that comes to mind. Like with school, I'm at Cedar College. We go out into the community. We do stuff. You always got to put your best foot forward. You never know who's watching.
Yeah.
I did my work experience at Knox basketball last year, and that was cafe jobs, going around the centre, doing some of the, I guess, centre management jobs.
Yep.
A couple of people had done that before and they had left straight away just because they didn't like the jobs they were doing. But I just tried to find the positive from it.
Absolutely.
And ended up having, the conversations with the right people.
Yeah.
And then over time, I got into the Knox Raiders academies, which happened during the week.
Yep.
And then they saw me doing those jobs. And then it sort of just links you towards eventually getting your own Raiders team, which there's an expression of interest for all that stuff too.
Of course.
But, and even if it wasn't for that reason, like if you show that you're willing to put the work in and you're willing to do, like it goes back to the Kyle Bowen, like the 1%ers.
Absolutely.
You're willing to do the 1%ers. That's what's going to get you the ultimate results. So,
yeah, well, I suppose it's easy to look at, coaches at all different levels and say, oh, I want to be at that level, or I want to be at that level. But the what's not discussed is, what does it take? What do we need to do at each of those levels? And you've just clearly pointed out that you had to go and do some crappy jobs.
Yeah.
Just to get noticed.
Yeah, exactly.
And
it's always going to be like that.
Always.
My goal is to be probably a pro coach.
Yep.
That's sort of my thought right now, but that's got to happen. Like, I know that I'm nowhere near that goal yet. So networking, if I have to show up and I have to clean the locker room, I'd do that.
Yeah.
And that's just sort of the motivation side of it, when you know that you've got a clear vision of what you want to do. So,
well, that was something that Seb Lees touched on.
Yeah.
He had the conversation with the right person and said, do you need a hand? And the response was, well, we always need somebody to pass the ball back.
Yeah.
So went and passed the ball back.
Exactly.
Somebody else with a different attitude might say, well, I'd like to do more than that. Well,
yeah.
Mate, earn your stripes first.
Exactly. No, you don't earn it straight away. They're not going to just give you a head coach position, or I guess from a playing perspective, they're not going to give you a starting point guard position straight off the bat if you're new to a team.
Absolutely.
Unless they know your talent, they know how you're going to fit in with the team. Because team morale is something that's so important, and that needs to be developed over time.
Absolutely. So, I've seen team morale grow in my under 17s this season. It's been probably my biggest focus, is making sure that there's support for each other.
Yeah, for sure.
It's excellent. I think it's the difference between good teams and great teams.
Yeah. 100%. A champion team is always going to beat the team of champions, unless the team of champions is a champion team.
Yes.
So
I love that.
That's one thing that's really important in a season. Is I'll take the Jack Jumpers, Taz Jack Jumpers for an example. Everyone expected Melbourne United to win the series a couple of years ago. We were a strong team. We had
sure thing almost.
Luke Travers, Ariel Huckporty, JLA, Golding, Delhi, all those guys. But the Jack Jumpers had the team pride, and that's what ultimately got them over the line. And then then a star was born in Jack McVeigh. So no one expected that.
No, absolutely not. And I think that that humbleness of Scott Roth was, the centerpiece for that.
100%.
For that culture.
100%.
Yeah. So what other networking, angles have you seen help you through your process?
So one of the dads in my Raiders team that I coach.
Yep.
He's the
coach the dads. No, I'm just joking.
Yeah, I could. Okay, we'll give it a shot. He's the chairman of Knox.
Okay.
So his connections are through the roof.
Yep.
With Knox, there's also a Next Gen Coaches Academy.
Okay.
And the person who sort of runs all that is Jared Hillier.
Right. Yes.
Yep. And his connections are through the roof.
Yep.
And then you got someone else who's sort of in that field is Neil Hewden.
Mm-hmm.
Again, he knows connections. Apparently, he's been getting advice from some NBA coaches.
Yep.
So there hasn't really been a set time where there's been the networking, but it's the connections that are there that I can make use of.
So what do we need to do to try and have those conversations?
I guess the conversations aren't just going to come up. They've got to, I think you got to be noticed through the effort you put in. Keep pulling kids out, giving them advice during the academies, or stop the drill, actually explain something if you see it, instead of, just shouting, rotate, quick, 3, 2, 1, okay, next rep, here we go.
Yeah.
Like putting the constraints on, putting the advice in place, because that's how kids actually develop, and that's one thing that Knox strives for.
Yeah, okay.
So,
So really, it's a two-stage thing. It's being seen. When I say it's a two-stage thing, it's a two-stage thing to improve and build your connections and networking skills. Is you need to be seen to be putting the work in.
Yeah, for sure.
You don't want to be all talk and no action.
That's actually there's coincidence with that. That's like one thing that over the last couple of weeks. So that's been like a huge statement for me.
Yeah. Okay.
So with my under 12s Friday night, we didn't have our best game, and I said to them, look, like, now it's on you guys. I want you to prove to me why you belong in this grade.
Yeah.
Why you belong. We're Met 2.
Oh, yeah. Okay,
and
great. Well done.
I want you guys to prove to me why you belong here.
Yep.
And it's not going to happen through just a team chat. You got to prove it to me on the court.
On the court.
And then I'll also use some of my mates at school as an example. We sort of got our year 12 team, and we do school tournaments.
Yeah, great.
And one thing is that there's a lot of talk on things, but there's no action.
Yeah.
And that's one thing that we're really pushing for this year, is that actions speak louder than words.
Absolutely.
And that's just, it's such a huge statement.
Yeah.
It's such a huge statement, and people don't even realize how much of a difference it can make.
Yeah. Yeah. So we need to be seen to be putting the work in.
Yep.
So that when the conversation presents, to have a chat with somebody of influence or somebody you want to connect with, that you need to be able to say, you need to have almost been seen.
Yeah, for sure.
And the fact of the matter is, you'll get seen if you're putting the work in.
Yep.
If you are the first person at training on the court, putting form shots up, a coach is going to notice that.
Yeah.
Anyone's going to notice that.
100%.
You're early to training, shoes on, ready to go. All of those things matter.
It makes such a big difference, yeah. And, even like something as little as saying, oh, hey, Oz, how you going?
Yeah.
Like that makes a big difference.
Absolutely.
Like they show that, and, they got their shoes on, they're getting shots up.
Yep.
After training, thanks to coaching.
Yep.
Like that's what makes a big deal. One of my boys has been doing that a lot this season.
And here we are talking about him.
Exactly. And it makes a difference, and then you can see the way he plays on the court.
Yeah.
It really reflects. He puts in the effort, he rebounds really well.
Yep.
He won us a game because he got a rebound.
Yeah.
So
that's awesome.
Yeah, for sure.
So do you think that, I guess, how important do you reckon it is? So, okay, we're putting in the work. We know that we can stand by our word. Nobody's going to question whether or not we are putting the effort in. Do you think that the networking and connections will just find us, or do we need to be intentional?
Oh, no way.
Okay.
No way. You got to find your way. You got to find your way around it. It's never going to be handed straight to you.
Yep.
You got to earn every single bit of it.
Yep.
You got to be the one to initiate the conversation. You got to be the one to go out there. You got to put in the 1%ers and just all that, it's never going to be straight-handed to you. You're never going to, it's like saying you're walking around the shops, someone says, oh, you look like a coach, here, come be the head coach of the Melbourne United. It never happens.
Yeah.
It never happens. You have to put in the effort.
Yep.
So yeah, never gets handed to you.
So reach out to people.
Yeah, exactly. And
start conversations.
We had with Cedar, we had Chris Anstey come in.
Yeah, wow,
and
that's awesome.
That was really good. And he actually spoke about that. He said, you never know who's watching.
Yeah.
That's what sort of where I got my point
Inspires
earlier.
You. Yeah.
And he said, like, I'm actually making an example of one of the stories he said was, there was this kid who was who they were scouting to come on to one of the teams. I think it was a state team, maybe. I can't fully remember. But they were watching him. They were in MSAC, so there was sort of like, how there's the area up top looking down on the courts.
Yeah.
They were there, and the dude had no idea that they were watching. And he was off with his towel, like talking to his mates on the bench during a timeout. And then they went to the next bloke because he said, "Nah, I don't want this guy on my team." They went to the next bloke, and then he might not have been as talented, but he got around his team.
Better attitude.
And then that kid apparently ended up being really good. I don't even know who the kid is.
Doesn't matter. The story stands.
The story stands for sure.
The moral of the story is, you don't know who's watching.
Yeah.
So be ready.
100%.
Put the work in.
Even if it's something as little as you're at a stadium walking around. Like if you want to go have a chat with someone, go have a chat.
Yeah.
Not going to make a difference to anyone's life if you go have a chat with someone.
That's right.
So and then again, it goes back to what we've been saying. You never know who it is.
Yeah, that's right. Exactly.
Like this podcast happened through a network, through a connection.
Exactly.
So, yeah.
Yeah. Wow. That's cool. We've got a case in point right in front of us.
Exactly.
Yeah. Brilliant. All right, Os. That's been a really, really great chat. I think that there's. I try all these episodes to present different levels and different parts of the coaching journey. And I think that yours is a really important sort of middle section. Mm-hmm. You haven't got 10, 15 years of wisdom and experience to share, but you've got a really valuable insight into what those first few years look like.
Yeah, for sure.
So look, thank you so much for coming along today. It's been a really, really great chat. Like we said before, off air, we could sit and talk basketball for hours.
100%. Yeah, I'd talk about Kyle Bowen's game for hours too.
Sounds like we better see if we can get Kyle on the show sometime.
Oh, 100%.
I reckon I could get a crowd for that one.
Yeah, maybe.
No, it'd be awesome. So thank you so much for coming along, mate. Really appreciate it.
No worries at all.
It's awesome to talk to passionate young coaches, and I've become so appreciative of what coaches do that I want to thank every guest that comes along, but I also want to thank you for coaching. Thank you for bringing your passion and love for the game and sharing it with the next generation. So, keep going. Love it.
I appreciate it. It's, at the end of the day, it's a passion.
Yes.
So if it's a passion, then I'm not worried about, doing the extra stuff, doing the game analysis, because that's what I love doing at the end of the day. So
Awesome.
That's really good.
All right, mate. Thank you very much.
No worries. Thank you for having me.
Cheers. That's it for today's Fast Break chat on Coach to Coach. Thanks for listening. I'm Jace, and I'll catch you next time.